All right, hello, welcome. So, we're going to start today's class talking about something focusing on what I call universals, universal truths, self evident truths. These are the fundamentals of how humans have recognized their fundamental reality in many formats over time. These are the things that people see within religions, within science, psychology, sociology, the hard science, the soft science, mathematics. And what many mathematicians would say is that because math is something that gets revealed or is evident in reality, these things are naturally within the reality versus something that we've created within our own understanding. There's a lot of different ways of looking at how we understand knowledge and wisdom in this world. And what I want to help people understand in this class is the fundamentals of how we remove ourselves from the collective superego, so to speak, and begin to have real, truly transcendent experiences um, from a grounded standpoint of God is true, therefore God is real, and that this is testable. That there's many people who've gone before who explain that the experience is something that we experience. They explain it in different ways and what the wisdom is. The wisdom and understanding that is shared tends to be something above or beyond what a human on itself could develop with its intellect. However, when they become self-evident truths and they become embodied, this is when we start talking about I am experiences, enlightenment, awakening, ascension, transcendent experiences, all the way up to becoming Messiah or understanding one with Christhood or Messiahhood, or as is known as Eheye or Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh within the Judeo-Christian tradition. Um, and the reality is that all the religions speak to these different things. They are human stories transmitted imperfectly forward through time from different locations. And so there's a universal quality to these. Once we lose our ego about our identity and our identifying with the story that we first understand when we first grow up. So for example, I was born in the western suburbs of Chicago. I was born in Chicago, actually. Grew up in the western suburbs of Chicago. I was confirmed in Catholicism. All of these are the first aspects of an incarnation. Everyone has this. Every fish is found in water, so to speak, when it is born. And it is this water by which I see the world at first, until I get to a point of maturity and I put my childish things away and I go, well, ultimately, I could have been incarnated in any of the human bodies on this planet. I could be any of these people in any of these timelines. Ultimately, when I let go of my ego of myself, I start identifying with the higher truths of this world. And so I want to dive into something I call the all. So we're going to call it all. Put a circle around it. Okay? This is the all. This is the first self-evident truth that I focus on when teaching meditation, yoga, Kabbalah, science, technically theater, music, production, DJing. You really want to understand all of it. And it seems like a multi-purpose word because it is. It kind of fits everything. But I want to talk about a bigger quality of the all. Understanding the all is the key to understanding humans' way of even having language, of explaining parts of the all relatively to each other. So we have all absolute, and then we have, how do I want to put this? We're going to put a circle here, two smaller parts of the all in a relative configuration. And so what we have here is actually two pieces of all that are really, if you were to go here, sub-aspects of the all. So if this is the all, this is part of all, part of all. And generally we see these things as relative pieces. These are hot and cold, polarities, pieces of the all, light and dark, left and right. Understanding pieces of the all helps us connect better with the all, because we tend to start understanding everything relative to, let's say, one part of this is ourself, one part of this is not ourself. So we have it from our experience, from the inside to the outside. And these are fundamental things to know. When we talk about the all, this is something that includes not just the word the all, not the vibration the all, not the color that I have drawn this in, the circle, or the board, or even the concept, or even the emotional tone in my voice, or the vibration of the air when I speak, or the light by which you're watching this. It is the amalgamation or the oneness of all of that as one thing, as the all. We experience the all when we're in a healthy state, much like we experience as an infant in oneness. Oneness is how we experience the all. It's one thing. It's when relationships in different ways of explaining the world speak to oneness. They're experiencing oneness in all things. Samadhi is the experience of the all. That is the alignment in the peace and the equanimity and the joy and the pleasure and the bliss, the ecstasy, and all the wonderful experiences we have when every part of us is aligned with the all in right relationship. This is steps to get there. You can even have parts that is part of the all relative to the all, but the all is always going to be an absolute because there's nothing outside the all. Even nothing is included in the all. The all, by self-definition, is all things knowable, unknowable, seen and unseen. Anything that could be even conceived in any way is part of the all. And so part of the way meditation, yoga, and other things work is to step up into this. The magic of this is to learn about a piece of it, and then maybe the dichotomy of it or a polarity of it. Maybe even see a vibration between the two, like a light photon or audio wave between 2 points, until we reach a point where we're enjoying oneness with the all. Now, we tend to do this piece by piece. Only a few of us, like infants, experience all immediately. All infants do this because that's just the nature of the first experiencing of consciousness. But as we develop our skills, all spiritual practices eventually lead to this. This is what the ultimate goal is of Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, Jainism, yoga, Kabbalah, all the forms. This is the ultimate understanding that they are all explaining, and that this is conscious. When the all is conscious, if we experience any part of the all as conscious, it is partially conscious, right? Maybe a part. The separation between theistic understanding and atheistic, and they both have value within the all because they both fit within the all, is that the all is conscious. In theism, the all has no consciousness within it for atheism. Now, one could say, well, that depends on if you define the all as God. So let's say there's an all that is the God, or everything that is God would have to be included in the all, because it would be the all. Anything beyond God, or anything that you would try to say is beyond something like that, would still be in the all and would still be part of God. And then we have an understanding of this as atheistic, of going, it has a mechanical, physical quality and features that are self-evident within it, that may not appear conscious, depending on the relative understanding. Understanding this is the fundamental of understanding how religions are trying to communicate a universal experience in different tools in different ways from different places and time points around the world. For example, in Judeo-Christianity, they actually do it through the word. Each letter is actually a value. Now, this isn't understood by many people who don't actually study, but those who study a little bit, there's a yoga of this, there's an understanding of this. It's called Kabbalah, which is the parts of the religion that were hidden when Judaism was under attack in different ways. There's other stories there too. Yahshua, there's no J in Hebrew, but later would be known as Jesus, would have completely understood this as somebody who was an I am being. I am the way and the light was not exact words, but he has multiple I am statements, which is the same words as Eheye, as Moses said God was. It said, God is I am that I am. That I am is the understanding that I am consciousness within the all. Now, Buddhism doesn't directly speak to some aspects of this because it expects you to understand this awareness to develop more healthily by not speaking to it and it just becoming resolved over time. Yoga uses different tools to cleanse different aspects of ourselves until we are aligned with the all. Science uses unified field theory, multidimensional theory, newer quantum understanding theories to explain different aspects of the all, but it would still be included in the all because science requires relative pieces in a specific testing method to test certain aspects of the all until it's a limit. And there's a limit to the scientific method. It's a method and a set of tools by having a control in a test subject or a test group. But when you're measuring the all within the all as the all, you have to understand that it is fundamentally subjective to each other, depending on how much control you can have over your control area. Learning the scientific method is really key because the yoga, the Kabbalah, without much study, I would venture to guess things such as Sufism, the meditational practices. These are all scientific practices. These were honed over years. These were tested. They have people who did not do yoga, they did not do meditation, they did not understand Kabbalah. They have people who did. And you can look at the quality of life as well as the words they share and the fundamental realities that they share through their being. This is when we start talking about that we are the all embodied. Obviously, Yeshua, as the prophet of Christianity, would have had to be the all embodied to be God. God is the all. There's no beginning, there's no end, there's infinite aspects to it, and there's not infinite aspects to it. There are temporal aspects to it. The relative parts, that which is infinite, that which is not infinite, right, are still part of the all. And so the temporal body isn't the full thing. That is the physical form, the temple by which we experience things. So being one with the all means that this being was the creator and the creation in one. This is also true of things such as enlightened beatings of people makes me think of Gandhi, and I apologize. I was thinking of Gandhi and somebody who just sat in enlightenment while he was beating his opponents. He would be somebody who was one with the all. Now, one with the all has many aspects, right? The concept of this takes time, because then within the all, there's good things and there's bad things, right? But we're in what's called right relationship. With the all, we feel nothing but joy and bliss because we're one with God. Now, atheists would also say we feel joy and bliss without this being God because we're at peace with every aspect of what has been manifested through time and space. That doesn't actually separate from God. Evolution, time and space, every vibration, every femtosecond would still be something of God as something that was created by Creator through creation. This is where some people go wrong with thinking about intelligent design. They think that poof, we were made perfectly out of clay and we had life breathed into us, and that's not exactly inappropriate when you go, sure, when all the clay came from the Big Bang. Bereshit bara Elohim is the beginning of beginnings. In Hinduism, there's some wonderful creationary stories that I'm not as well versed in, but I will at some point maybe speak to those because they are beautiful. But each understanding humans have shared of the story of creation is another way of understanding the beginning of beginnings, which is the beginning of a all that could be recognized. The all that could be recognized, that is something that we do. That's something that we experience. Without us in it, the all would not be necessarily recognized except for the larger potential consciousness of the all, of which there is. And there is no separation. Within our experience as humans, when we become aware, we start seeing ourselves as no separation. There's nothing between you and me in this moment. We are integrated in oneness. Now, some people see within the all separation. It's not an illusion per se. Some people say it's an illusion. It's an illusion in that there really is no separation. But I can't say that I would have a problem with somebody saying I am separate from this marker, right? Like I can set it down and I'm separate from it. But the oneness we were talking about is a fundamental oneness. It's experiential. We can experience this. There's tools that give us the experience of this. And this tool of healing this and knowing this brings us to a state of being that is transcendent, beautiful, light, and love. Because we see why. We understand why we want to do these things. So we choose certain things that are becoming through us. That are becoming to become apparent through us, is the way I should say this. As we grow, as we develop, as we mature, we start understanding why certain things are only for certain ages, why we don't want to invite certain interactions into our life or thoughts or feelings. And those things help wash us to be in right relationship. And this right relationship means with ourselves, it means with the all, it means with each other, it means with this world. This is a practice, but eventually we naturally get here, and then it's a center of right relationship with the universe challenging us with new experiences where we grow due to those experiences. That's the do and learn, the universe gives you the test first and lesson later kind of things. Those of us who've had a lot of those lessons are able to transmit those things through written word in many different ways, many very creative ways. So for example, the Zohar, reading it is actually a meditation and a yoga. Not anybody who's read it can explain it the same way. Everybody who reads it has a different interpretation. It even speaks and is written in a multidimensional language. It begins alluding to the qualities of roses being not just a rose, but a rose also being a maiden, and also things that have risen, also things such as salvation, the quality of birth and life. When we speak in these larger terms, we see that these are closer to the larger all consciousness, where there's multidimensional understandings to something such as a flower. However, somebody could say, well, a flower is just a flower. It's just a flower. Of course it is. And it's also a euphemism and a metaphor. And it's something that by any other name smells just as sweet. Now, the reason I teach this way, there's a very good reason for this. I go from the all in. This fixes huge amounts of issues that many before do not understand. There's this thought in many systems that we have to start with parts of it and build up to the all. And there's no reason you can't have that and this. You must have both. And here's why. Grounding in the all gives us a sense of security and safety in the fact that humans haven't understood everything and there's still a large amount of things to understand in the universe. And that our experiential learning is of extreme value because it's truly what we are experiencing. And as someone who's experienced others who are denying my experience sometimes, which is a very common thing. Oh, that didn't happen, or you're not experiencing that, or no way that's real. Well, it is real. I've had these experiences. This is my real life. I don't lie. I don't have to deny myself. And by being in right relationship, I don't have to carry anything but my truth with me. And if it's imperfect, I'll learn and grow through the do and understand aspect of having a body and learning these things, as well as sharing these things. Having a center in the all gives me this power. It gives me the power to be impervious to denials of what is true from my subjective experience, as well as what I have understood in my objective experience. This also gives a space for people to understand all the religions in here, all the science, all the psychology, all the colors, color theory, music, dancing, all things that are enjoyable fall into the all, as well as all the things that aren't enjoyable. Which is why we have a right relationship to this. If we have a wrong relationship, what is this? Wrong relationship? You have this equals? Sad. Unhappy things. In this incarnation and the next, and for those around us, and for those in the future, and for those who are going to be incarnated before us, they are the ones who helped make sure we were in right relationship better than they were, so that we can take care and make sure that we don't have these. We're going to do this. We don't want this. We want relationships to equal happy. And this is a relationship. Once we see our relationships positively and understand right relationship, we experience a closer sense of oneness. And this is a joyful experience. This is pleasurable. This also includes the dating we go through, the marriages we go through, the relationships with our children, our family we go through. When we're in right relationship with the all, which is right relationship with the God of the all, which created the all as the all, which is a self-referential understanding of God, which defies all boundaries of humans' explanation of the all to each other, and yet gives us space to communicate through vibration being things such as letters, numbers, words, communication. We can communicate that to ourselves, a part of the all to another part of the all, a part that wants to communicate to the part that is receiving the communication. This is the semantics of explaining what is being communicated. In this respect, you're this part of the all, I'm this part of the all, and I'm communicating, as well as, we're in this experience of the all, enjoying this conversation in every dimension at this moment, whether you are aware of it or not. There's not a dimension that I am away from when I'm with the all. If I'm away from it, I feel a discomfort in my body. I feel something that's unpeaceful, uncomfortable, out of alignment. This is what people mean when they say, I feel out of alignment, I feel out of balance, I feel blocked. It means, I need to get in the right relationship with myself. And myself, as a part of the all, is like a hologram. Or what some people say is a drop of the ocean that contains the ocean. If you take a hologram, which is a 3D image, and you cut a piece of it off, it actually contains the whole 3D image. It's a great way to understand how we as consciousness are a drop of the ocean within the ocean. Now, that little piece of hologram needs to be moved around so you can see the whole picture. And we can only move so far. But the concept is fundamentally sound for conveying this experience, because this is something that once you see it, you can start to lightly enjoy your life better. Some people go, what's the point of all this? What's the point of life, and why did you make existence then? Why? And it's really, put this, love. A little heart there. It's love. Love is right relationship. Love is the reason the all created the all in a manifest physical form. Some call it the Zim-Zum or constriction or the Big Bang. Before there was physical things, before somebody created a beginning of a timeline, everything was infinite in all spaces, or it was nothing. It would not matter. That's sometimes what's called Ein, or the space before the Big Bang. Once we have the Big Bang, we have the first beginning. Everything that has happened now is born from that original beginning, which is a single point. So you can also view the all as that single point, as well as all infinites coming into that single point of linear time space, of which we are experiencing it multidimensional in multidimensional experiences, multidimensionally. These are the fundamentals of the reality of all religions. If you understand and can at least accept this understanding, and I don't want you to take anything but a few moments to ask yourself if they're already teaching this. But what I want you to do is look at this and go, if I see this, if I experience this, and I can understand this, what else can I start building into this, and how do I feel about that? The weird thing is that if you have a fundamental emotional negative response to this, something's going on with you that's not healthy, that's not able to listen. And that's something to be aware of, because it's related to all things. And so if there's something you're having trouble with listening to all things in your life, it means you're not in the right relationship somewhere. It means that even if I was wrong, even if this was just a stepping stone in the evolution of humanity sharing itself and its understandings with other versions of itself and their understandings, even if this was imperfect, the fact is that if you had a negative connotation of this, it doesn't have to do with the topic anymore. It would have to do from something that is more of a discomfort related to something modeled earlier in life. Because ultimately, you have a version of this already developed in your conscious and in your psyche. Subconsciously and consciously, you have your own working model of reality, whether you've elucidated it like this or not. Through yoga, through literature, through experience, through events, through ritual, through incense burning and candles, through science, through dancing, through all these different ways, we come to understand these things. It's the experience of existence. You have been experiencing the all as much as you can since you began experiencing the all. That goes from the beginning of the beginning, as well as to the beginning of your first memory, which is technically your first beginning of beginning egoically within your form. So what I want you to get from this is that if you have a negative relationship to any parts of this, dig in deep and ask yourself, why? Where did that come from? Is that a religion thing? Is that a familial thing? Is this a friend thing? Is this a sense of safety thing? Is this a I know better than you think whether I've actually read or studied anything else or not. And figure out where that is born. Because ultimately, what happens is, even though I'm sharing this, you will end up having your own parts of yourself understand this in your own language that may or may not be in words, maybe in music, it may be in literature, it may be in dance or theater, or it may show up in a movie or TV. You'll have your own understanding of these things that you will experience, and you'll have your own words for this. So where I call it the all, you may have a different word. Some call it the Tao. Some call this Ein. Some call the creator of this, as well as the creation of this, Elohim or Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. Some call those who experience these things yogis or Buddhas or Yeshuas or Christ or Messiah or King Messiah. Some just call these people who are right in their life without the consciousness. We're going to focus on the truth and be nothing but love and right and good because they want to be something that is good in this world. Because if you take a moment and you realize that in here we have suffering, not suffering, right? If this part starts adding extra suffering, it adds the net suffering of the world. If this part that's not suffering keeps pulling out suffering, this part that's suffering ends up draining. And that's what the medicine is of meditation, yoga, Kabbalah, religions. All of them imperfect, but when taken in aggregate, they all work to get to this point. And with all of them, there actually is a way of masterhood, which is hidden. And by hidden, I mean you have to look beyond what the average person is learning and learn for yourself by testing. And then you eventually get to this point of consciousness. Within this demonstration is the beginning of all understanding of the world that all humans have been trying to explain to each other. Because once you connect with the consciousness here, it is a matter of explaining all things in oneness through a very limited voice. You know, we can only vibrate so many frequencies. I can only draw so many things. I can only create 3D environments on my computer so far. I can only create so many multisensory experiences before you start reaching a point where you go, and even that only touches the surface of being within oneself and being incarnated and experiencing this. Within learning this is the fundamentals of awakening by which we find other tools, which I will continue on in other classes with. When we practice yoga, or at least when I teach my yoga, that means my asana, my pranayama, my mantra, and visualization meditations, rituals, other practices, ladihan, such as that. These get transmitted because this is already embodied in me. And so teachers that have already developed their awareness of this embody this. And this is where we start getting through things such as transmitting with a good teacher and studying with spiritual teachers and advisors tends to transmit information that is beyond what we can vibrate through our writings, through our words, through simple videos, because they are multidimensional and they transmit through the whole access to being in the proximity of those people. And I say that you should find those people because they are the higher level of the same modeling we learn from our children when they are born, because we model our children a little bit, and the modeling that our children do by learning how to be human through witnessing those around them, such as their parents and siblings. Do and understand. I hope you find this information valuable. This is enlightenment in a nutshell. This is the fundamentals of enlightenment. Once you get to the all, you get to the beginning of beginnings, you have something that is actually really important, which is now. You see, now is only one part of the all. But the all is also now. And that's a temporal understanding of the now is always dying and being born instantly, right now since the beginning of beginnings. But within the all, it includes all history, all present, all past, all future, all potential futures, all futures that will never be, all past that will never be, all things that can never be. It defies logic as well as defines logic. And once you understand the logical aspects of this, the illogical aspects fall away. And you can just sit with them as being creative concepts to play with and toy with. However, they don't fall into the qualities of ever being physically manifestable. And thus, we can put our energy more forward towards what we will be manifesting. Manifestation being the quality of delimiting ourselves, cleansing our emotional, mental, physical, spiritual bodies until ultimately what we're experiencing is the all embodied through us, which is heaven. That is the heaven on earth. That is the heaven that we talk about. That is the heaven that never ends, whether I have this form or not. That heaven is the right relationship within the all, to all that would be in right relationship to have manifested on this planet through us and our being. With that, I'm going to set this here. I'm going to bid you peace, and I love you. And I wish for you to find your next step in this world. And that I hope that this brings you to a higher level of awareness in understanding that heaven is on earth. This is also known as the world to come. Once you know this is the world that is here, once you cleanse yourself through time, because we pick up stuff through life, you then eventually become here, and you enjoy samadhi, you enjoy now. And Yeshua was somebody who experienced this and said, wear my yoke, which is my yoga. In Judaism, that's devakut. In yoga, it means to yoke oneself to God. The awareness of this and knowing that even atheistically, and I'll close with this, the all model, it works even atheistically. In connecting with this in right relationship, atheistically still works. That's how you know it's a true heaven. It removes all of the ego, and you can start looking at what's right relationship with the self-evident truths. Because once you know an all is absolute, you can build a ladder of light, a ladder of understanding, a ladder of truth, or rungs of truth based on the all. Because the all is true, now is true. These are experienced. By definition, this exists even if you haven't experienced all of the all. You will experience all of the all within you, which will be the all of this experience within this existence. Obviously, the collective or the aggregate, the aggregate of all the parts eventually leads to the all as well. That's collective subjective. But collective subjective is also related to things such as groups, communities, egregors, social interactions of larger entities, if you will, such as places we live, neighborhoods, groups of friends. With this, what I will do is say, I hope this helps you find the right relationship in your life, and I want you to know that by finding this, you have now found love. It's an advanced form of love, a very special form of love. The type of love that I believe you will really enjoy. God bless you.